Welcome, everyone. My name's Sara Oser. I'm president of HLAA North Bay Chapter. We're located in Marin and Sonoma counties, California. That's north of San Francisco. The mission of our organization is to improve the world of communication for people with hearing loss through information, education, support, and advocacy. So today we have Rhonda Taylor. She's our CART captioner. CART means communication access, real-time technology. She's a real person listening in to our meeting, and she's working with Hamilton Relays remote conference captioning. This service is available through the state of California if you're having a virtual meeting with 3 or more people with hearing loss. There are captions available, and Rhonda's creating them. Please look at the bottom of your screen and click on CC to activate the captions on your screen. If you have any difficulty, let us know. And the text stream is available. And I'm looking at this chat here. There is a text stream available. Look in the chat for that information. So today we have with us the founder and tech team colleagues from Caption Companion. We've got Margaret Downs, Mathew Call, and they'll be presenting as a team and showing slides. And they'd like to first present and then after that take questions and answers. So please, while you're listening, if you have questions, you can put them in the chat and then the presenters will see that afterwards. So I think rather than me continuing to talk, I'd like to hand this meeting now over to Margaret and Mathew. I hope you'll introduce yourselves and let us know what this Caption Companion is all about.
Yes, we will certainly do so. That's what we're going to do today. We want to first thank you for inviting us to share Caption Companion. And then if Alan, who is our support specialist, if he could load the presentation while I'm talking. I am Margaret Downs, Executive Director of Premier Visual Voice, creators of Caption Companion. Premier Visual Voice has been since 2012, and it was started by me. I am a real-time captioner, professional real-time captioner, registered CART provider. So started that in 2012 and I still do it today. I really love what I do, and out of that came Caption Companion along with my team and my colleagues. So that's kind of my history. It's not as nice as Matthew's, or mine's kind of boring, but so we also have Mathew Call, and he is our fabulous director of technology with Premier Visual Voice. And then we do have Alan Downs, who's going to be advancing the slides for us today. So what we want to do is just get started. We'll talk about highlights of Caption Companion, and then as Sara mentioned, we will take questions at the end. So I can turn it over to Mathew if everything's ready to go.
Thank you, Margaret. You go ahead and advance the slides, Alan. Let's go to the headshots. Yeah, well, so I studied sociology, graduated back in 2003, but I'd also studied Spanish, and I lived in Central America. And then when I got back, I was working as a Spanish-English interpreter. But I actually decided to go back to school to get a degree in American Sign Language interpreting, and I later became certified. My youngest sister was born deaf, so our whole family learned sign language, like profound, congenital, bilateral, sensory neural. You know, it was we we have genes in the family. We later found out because we discovered family members that we didn't know who were born deaf. So we learned signing exact English growing up, and then it wasn't until later that we kind of got introduced to the deaf culture and ASL, but I loved it. I thrived in that environment. So my brother, who was also a sign language interpreter certified, he ran his own company because he was entrepreneurial and he wanted me to work with him. So I said, yeah, let's do it. And while I was working with him, mainly doing like sign language interpreting, a different friend of mine introduced me to voice writing, like re-speaking, because he was a steno writer, a Spanish interpreter, and a sign language interpreter. So he said, you should do voice writing. You don't have to learn steno. You just re-speak. You train the software to recognize your speech, and then you can get it to show up very accurately. And I loved it. I took it and ran with it, later got certified. And so we added that as a service to the company my brother and I ran. During that decade, I worked regularly with Margaret down. So we were both remote, real-time captioners. Sometimes we would contract out to her company. Sometimes she would contract out to us. So we had a really neat relationship all that time. And then right after the pandemic, we were acquired by another company. And at the time we saw it as a good thing. I went over with the acquisition and I worked there for a period of time. But what was interesting is during those years running a company providing remote cart captioning, this was before the pandemic. So video conferencing it existed, but it wasn't all that common. And so we used video conferencing platforms to connect to like the consumer who was inside of a room, usually a university student in a classroom, or maybe an employee in their workplace, or a meeting of some sort. So we had to remote in. And boy, it was hard to get good audio because it relied on how good their internet connection was and how good the microphone in their device was, how close the person talking was, and if they were walking around, and the acoustics of the room. If there was hard surfaces everywhere, there was a lot of reverb or echo. And so we thought, this is not working. Like, the biggest irony in our industry is when the deaf or hard of hearing client that is receiving the accommodation has better hearing than the captioner whose job it is to provide the accommodation. It's just the silliest irony. So we started sending clients a microphone. Here, use this, a wireless mic. Have the person speaking, clip it on. That helped somewhat, but there were still issues. Sometimes the microphone wasn't there, or it wasn't given, or it didn't connect with their equipment. And so we tried all kinds of things. And eventually we said, you know what? We just need to, like, as long as they're using their own hardware, their own equipment, but yet it's up to us to troubleshoot their equipment. Because if we don't, it makes us look bad. We can't provide adequate remote cart captioning services. That's when we decided, we just need to create our own device. One tap, you connect. The mic is already connected. Everything's done for you. And then you don't have to worry about your own laptop, your own phone, the consumer in the room or the client. They can function just like everyone else, and they have a separate device dedicated for captioning. That turned out to be the key for us. That was what made our business thrive. And we were able to scale up our business, help a lot more people without troubleshooting audio all day. And so anyways, after this acquisition, that company didn't have any interest in selling hardware. They didn't want to use the idea. They went in a different direction. So Margaret, being the wise woman that she is, she said, well, if they're not going to use that idea, then I will. And she put a team together, and they basically tested different user interfaces. They test different designs, and they had beta testers. So for a couple of years, they were creating Caption Companion. It wasn't called that yet. And then when we'll talk about this in a minute, but when it managed to pass a certification exam that only human captioners had been able to pass, that's when I said, no, you know what, I'm in the wrong place. I need to join Margaret's team. So I jumped on board, and like we'd known each other for a long time. We'd been working together, and it was the right decision, because now we have Caption Companion that we can talk all about. That's kind of the history, how it came about. Okay, go to the next slide. Thanks, Alan. So our vision is to be a leader in communication accessibility by using technology to achieve formerly unattainable levels of access. We were a service provider. We pretty much handled all the same services that another agency might, you know, captioning, sign language interpreting, audio description, offline transcription, or like subtitles, video captions. We can do all that, but we knew that AI captioning was getting pretty good, but there's a catch. You have to have a good audio feed. It's funny because if you just ask random people, how good are captions in Zoom? How good are they in Google? How good is this app? How good is that app? You get a myriad of responses. Some people are like, oh, this app is the most accurate. Others are like, this app sucks. It's not even accurate, but it's the same app. So why is that? Or a meeting platform, like, oh, this one's great, but this one isn't. Why is that? It mostly has to do with the audio feed. So someone who happens to be using it in a place where they're trying to caption someone that's way across the room, even the best speech engine in the world is not going to handle that very well. It needs to fix the audio first before it can create accurate captioning.
Right.
And it's the same thing with meeting platforms. If you got someone who's not using a mic, or they're too far away, or they have bad internet connection, well, the captions are going to be poor too. So it
Right.
really comes down to the audio quality, and that's what we built into Caption Companion. So yeah, let's move to the next slide. Okay, primary offering. All right. So instead of an app, Caption Companion is a device. And there are many reasons why we went this route. So it's an 8-inch tablet style device, and it offers free, fast, and accurate real-time AI captioning. It's unlimited. You could run it 24/7. You don't even need internet. It's all on device. So all the languages are downloaded like in advance. So you don't even have to have Wi-Fi on. And you also don't need an account. There's no login, there's no subscription. We don't collect any user data. So there are literally no limits. Once you have this device in your hand, you can caption anything and everything forever, like ongoing, and you'll never incur any fees. And it also supports non-English captioning, meaning like same language captioning. So if you speak Spanish, you get Spanish captions, and there's quite a long list of languages. But it does have the capability to connect to Wi-Fi in case you do need a human captioner. So it's just a different button. And then you pre-schedule it, of course, much like the RCC service we are using today. You pre-schedule it, they connect at the right time. And then instead of AI captioning on the screen, you would get the human captioning on the screen, because there is still a time and a place for everything, and we knew that there was going to be a transition period where you need humans and AI working together, and you need to be able to choose what is right for that appropriate event. So, of course, if you need human captioning in a different place, not on the tablet, we offer that service as well. But we built in the ability so that you could have a human remote cart on Caption Companion.
Right.
All right, next
Next
slide.
slide.
So where can you use Caption Companion?
Everywhere.
The more appropriate question is, where can't you use it? Because, yeah, anywhere and everywhere. I mean, meetings, presentations, workplaces, any kind of job, if you can use it to caption in-person audio, you can plug it into a computer, plug it into a phone, plug it into an assistive listening device, plug it into your old record player, your old Walkman tape player. You can get captions of everything, anything, from kindergarten to PhD. Everywhere, anything in between. Disaster relief. Don't need internet. Just you can use a portable battery or a solar charger, and it has long battery life too. So it'll last a lot longer than your phone. Religious services, events, churches, retirement communities, museums, tours, conventions, anything you can think of. So I'm not sure if you all have heard of it's called the Committee for Communication Access in America, CCAA. Maybe some of you were involved in this survey. They did a large-scale survey and about assistive communication technology in public venues, and they asked a wide range of people, and they published their results. You can go to their website and get it. There's no paywall. It's ccaa.name, like name. So the Committee for Communication Access in America. And I like to read this part verbatim. This is straight from their results section. Because remember, we're talking about public venues in the United States. How good is their assistive communication technology? That's an umbrella term that means any kind of accommodation for assistive communication, whether it's hearing loops or assistive listening devices or captioning or sign language interpreting, all of that. And the results were, if only one technology was to be available, the first choice of respondents was cart or caption, with hearing loops the preferred assistive listening solution. And then they talk about how venues should address the complaints that come up, because obviously we are speaking to the choir, but we know that every venue seems like every venue, until you work with them, until you ask them multiple times for their ALD or their captioning device or whatever, then they finally start getting it right. But captioning, despite there never being a one-size-fits-all solution, the accommodation depends on the need. But if you think about it, captions could be seen as the most universal solution, because it doesn't matter what degree of hearing loss you have, doesn't matter your proficiency in ASL. All it matters is that you can see the screen and be able to read, and you've got at least that base level of access. So it was neat to see this result. It was something like externally validated what we all know, which is that captioning can be a huge boost for communication in venues. Awesome. Next slide.
Next slide.
Here's what comes with every Caption Companion package. You don't just get the tablet. The tablet has a pre-installed kickstand, which allows you to prop it up in any angle, like a variety of angles. It comes with a little cleaning cloth, and then it's got the charger, a charge cable. And then up to the right, on the top right corner, that is the smart mic. It's Bluetooth, so there's no cables. That's just a charge cable for the mic. It comes uniquely paired with the device in advance. You can see it on the screen whether it's connected, so you know which microphone it's being used, because you can switch between the integrated mic and the wireless mic. That allows you the most versatility. If you're just in a small group, people are close to you, well then you can just use the integrated mic. if you need to get accurate captioning from across the room, you can try using an integrated mic, but the farther away you get from the audio source, the less accurate the captions will be. So that's why smart mic is included, because once the person is really close to that mic, the captions are fast and accurate. And it's got a lanyard without any metal clips, because metal can affect the audio. Remember, it's all about audio. And it's got a windscreen, because if you're outside and there's wind blowing, that's going to affect the audio. That's going to affect the caption quality. So you stick that little wind muff on top, and now that eliminates the wind noise. And then in the bottom right, there's some other little additional accessories that come with it. One of them is an adapter that lets you actually lets you charge the mic with the tablet. So the tablet acts as a little portable battery bank, and you can charge portable electronics. And then it's got a custom audio cable that allows you to plug it into direct sources like your computer or your phone or an assistive listening device like a receiver box. And then a little earbud monitor to test the audio. And then there's a Y splitter. That's the tiny little black pyramid looking thing. So it allows you to, like, if you want to split the audio output from a source, then you could hear it and get the captioning at the same time. All that comes included with every package. And then there's some optional accessories that you can get, which aren't needed in every case, but there's an adapter connected to a landline phone. There's an adapter, there's a case for it, a protective case. These things come with a tempered glass screen protector on it. So, if you drop it, it cracks the screen. You just peel off the protector and slap a new one on. But it doesn't come with a case. That's a separate optional accessory. And then there's some multi-wireless mic sets you can get with it. So in case you have multiple people that need to be mic'd, get accurate captioning from more than one source in the room. And yes, please go ahead.
Sorry, if all of this seems confusing, because it is confusing to me, when Matthew starts talking about technology and the details, and I just kind of get like a glazed look on my face. So, but we are here to help. So if ever, you purchase one and you need to be at a conference or a this or a that, we're always here to help. So just so you know that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we have a full suite of help demo videos that are all captioned. So that's what that little QR code is. If you notice, it's on the box, it's on the tablet, it's actually on the screen too when you're powered on. Just scan it with your phone, and you're right there at our support page that has live human chat support, has all the videos and frequently asked questions. So yeah, we are here to help.
Okay, next slide.
Well, this is the part I was telling you about. So some of you probably are aware of the Global Alliance on Speech-to-Text Captioning. It's an organization for providers, consumers, industry leaders. It's everyone is involved with this organization. It's not only for captioners, it's not only for consumers, but they work, we work with a lot of other organizations. And you know how you see these blurbs for like big tech, they all have their own speech engines and their captioning products, and we're 90 whatever percent accurate. We're 99% right. We're this, we're that. Well, there's a dirty little secret I'll let you in on. Almost all of that is based on what's called the word error rate. And to calculate accuracy, all you have to do is match word for word. You can ignore punctuation, you can ignore meaning, you can ignore capitalization. Doesn't matter. As long as you get the right words right, that's how you score it. It's pretty much every speech to text tool or app product can get in the high 90 percentiles if you're using that model. Well, the Global Alliance was smarter than that. They said, no.
Oh.
What matters is the meaning, what you're conveying in the captions, that has to match what's being spoken. And that includes punctuation and capitalization and meaning. So like if the person speaking said can't, but the caption said can, it's a very subtle phonological difference, but semantically it's the exact opposite. You just captioned the exact opposite of what they said. So
Right.
those kind of errors are weighted more heavily with the NER model. And that more accurately represents how good captions you're getting. So Caption Companion was submitted to the Global Alliance and took the same test that human captioners take, because that's the philosophy of the Global Alliance. Like, we should test humans and AI using the same metrics. If we expect something of humans, we should expect the same of AI. Why would we use a different model? Why would we use a different standard? And it passed. As of right now, Caption Companion by Premier Visual Voice is the first and only ASR tool to receive NCSP certification. And that's the certificate is what's showing on screen.
We were excited about that.
Awesome. Okay, next slide. So here's what sets us apart. You all are the savvy crowd. You know what's out there. You use all the apps for captioning. You're aware of meeting captions and how accurate they are, and part providers, and you know about the RCC service, you know about Hamilton Relay and all the companies that are providing it. So this is probably the most important slide for this crowd, because all right, what sets you apart? There's so many text, speech to text tools and products and captioning. It's saturated. What sets you apart? And here are the three things that do. It's a dedicated hardware device. It's a physical. You can't put Caption Companion software on your own phone. That's not how it was made. It comes with the device, and that way you've got a dedicated device just for captioning. There's no interruptions. It's not draining your battery like a phone would. And the audio is, you can trust that the audio it's getting is clean, clear, as good as it's going to get, which will give you the highest accuracy you're going to get. No login, no account, no subscription. You don't have to pay. Once you've got the device, then you have captions forever. Even though we're a growing company and we have no plans to go bankrupt, but if we did, if Margaret and I disappeared tomorrow, you would have captioning as long as you have that device. Even, think about that. Like, if a company were to go under, if it's cloud-based, like, they're gone. Or if they're
Right.
acquired by someone else, they're gone. But with this, it doesn't matter. Once you have it, the power is in your hands. And it works offline, and so you don't even need internet. You don't have to connect, and your data is private. I mean, the caption text is private because it stays on the device, And the way we crafted it, it had to do with audio quality. It was all about getting the best quality, which gives you the best caption. And then in the versatility we built, we wanted to make sure it could be used anywhere, every scenario you could think of. Like, there is a way to use this. But the best part is probably simplicity. You literally power it on, tap, and it starts captioning. That's it. There's nothing else. There's all these fancy ways to get it connected to different audio feeds so that you can get the best possible accuracy, but we can help with that. At its base layer, you just tap and it starts captioning. And then, of course, our 24/7 customer and technical support. We're very responsive, white glove service. I didn't, white glove is a funny term because, like, that's just how we've always operated. But when you talk to big companies, they're like, oh no, we can't help everyone. That's white glove. They should pay extra for that. Well, our philosophy is everybody should deserve that. So yeah, so we do our best to help however we can. And that comes free forever, included with your purchase. So next slide. Oh, I love the testimonials. These are word for word taken from emails, and the customers give us permission to use these. So someone sent in, I just wanted to follow up and let you know what a lifesaver this device is. My hearing fluctuates with stress and tinnitus, and today wasn't a good hearing day for me. I was able to capture all the information that was needed without any issues. It is truly the difference between succeeding and failing at my job. Thank you, thank you, thank you for offering this kind of tech. Caption Companion turned a bad day into a great day. So this person used it in their workplace, but they did not want their employer to foot to be involved in that accommodation. They wanted to be able to do their job with the tools that they knew about so they could match or exceed the performance of their colleagues. And that's what Caption Companion allowed them to do.
Can you hold on, Matthew? We lost the captions.
Oh,
Hold on.
sure.
Sure, we can wait.
Can
Sure.
you see what's going on, why they disappeared?
I see they're still streaming at the stream text link.
Okay. Why aren't they streaming right here? What happened?
I can see them on my Zoom. This is
Oh.
fast.
I think that's a hello. I think that's a Zoom issue because I put the link into my cell phone and it continued to caption.
Is everybody getting captions?
Well, I didn't see that part, but I was seeing it up until just now. I'm not seeing it now.
Yeah. Could we ask the captioner from Hamilton, could you try, like, if you, this, Margaret and I have experienced similar stuff like this when we use stream text and Zoom's API token.
Yeah.
So you might be able to fix that as in the stream text event. If you go to event control and then
Yes, I just can't caption and fix it at the same time.
yeah, no, I totally get that.
Okay. Let
We
me
can wait.
see.
We can be silent.
Host caption control settings. Allow closed captionings. Lock caption. When this, only the host can change the caption
It's
language.
back. Now this is Beth again. Now my captioning is back on Zoom.
Oh,
Hey, all right, all right, all right.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you for fixing that. We
okay.
have an awesome captioner. Okay. I've been looking at the caption.
Okay. It's good. Good now. Thank you.
Good.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
letting us know, Sarah. Yeah, this second testimonial on the screen, it was a woman who purchased it for her grandmother. And she said, we are just so thrilled. Our grandmother won't need to rely on Wi-Fi and a tiny phone that runs out of power anymore. That's pretty common. Yeah, these testimonials represent like a whole category of customers. We have lots of great testimonials, and these were just the ones we picked to kind of represent, because there are a lot of elderly who are taking great advantage of this because it's a bigger screen than a phone and they don't need to log in and it doesn't time out. So it's great for that. Next slide. This testimonial came from a spiritual center, like a church style venue, and they wanted it to be visible to everyone in their congregation. So they said it went very well and we are keeping the Caption Companion. I did not hear any negative comments from the congregation. We currently have one of our screens used specifically for the captions, so we'll be getting another one soon. I want to thank you for sharing your knowledge, help, and patience. It was great working with you, and your exceptional customer service was appreciated. Next slide. All right, I'll let Margaret take over from here.
Okay, so this is a screenshot of the website. I believe it's the home page on the website, or maybe it's the Caption Companion page. But at the top, I believe it's hyperlinked. So we will more than likely, if you would like us to, we can send a copy of this presentation, share it, and you could click on it and it would take you to that page on the website where you can place your order for Caption Companion. It's also, it's detail on this page. There's a link toward the bottom, which is not on this picture, but it's toward the bottom of that page with the help demo videos. They are captioned. And there's such a wide range of, there's everything on here that you would need. We have a secure cart feature, add to cart, and you can make your purchase there. The cost at this time for Caption Companion is $1,599 per unit. And, it comes with the accessories that Mathew mentioned on the previous slide. Comes in all the packages. And then we have the 4 optional accessories. So like the case and the landline connector and the couple of the other ones. So that's what that is. And if we can go to the next slide, I think it's our contact information. Again, it's premiervisualvoice.com and go to the Caption Companion page. But on this our website, we have virtual chat, which is manned by a human 24/7. There we have an email address, goes to the whole team, info@premiervisualvoice.com. Our 855 number is voice and also text messaging. And if I'm not remembering anything else, email. Yeah, I mentioned that. So you can really just get a hold of us anytime, anywhere. As I said, our customer service is second to none. So yeah, we really pride ourselves in that. And so then I think we're done. And, if there are any questions, we would welcome any questions.
So there are some questions already in the chat. If you can access those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
see those questions. Sure.
We could start there with the chat questions. If you go up to the top and go down, put the link to the videos that you have in the chat box. Could you do that?
Oh, the demo videos. Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
What's the
Okay.
next question? Okay, you did that?
There's a, oops, hold on a second.
That's a request someone put in the chat.
Yeah, so here's the support page with all videos. The support videos, the help videos, it's a YouTube playlist. But FYI, if you get ads over a video, it's not our ads. We don't place ads. Those are placed by Google. But if you watch the help videos on that support page itself, it's embedded in the little YouTube player, then that you shouldn't get any ads if you do it that way.
All right. And there's another question from Alan Katsura. Are you going to be at the HLAA convention this year?
Yeah. We definitely considered it. It's Indianapolis in June, but we weren't ready. So we will not be at HLAA this year, but we are providing the captioning at the Deaf Seniors of America conference in Kansas City, Missouri. That's not till August.
August 1st, the 8th.
Yeah, so we'll be there, but yeah, we definitely want to go to HLAA convention one of these times and showcase. So that's certainly in our longer term plans.
Yes.
Uh-huh. And then Tom Watson comments that can versus can't is the biggest worry with speech to text, especially since he can no longer hear those words well. And he appreciates you mentioning that.
Yeah, it's a common one, even for us voice writers, us speakers. We have to enunciate in an intentional way to ensure accuracy. But really, when it comes to a AI device, the best way to ensure accuracy is to get the audio quality as high as possible.
And then Terry Shirley was asking if it can be used in healthcare appointments or hospitals, or is there a problem with privacy issues, even if the appointment is for yourself or someone you are, in charge of health-wise?
Yeah, so that's a great question. On the support page, we have a little blurb that speaks to some of that. Let me just bring it up because I like to read this verbatim.
Are you going to share your screen?
No, I just gonna
Oh.
read a part of it.
Okay.
That's okay. So let's see here. Let me find the right.
And Alan Downs, could you stop sharing so we can focus more on yeah, great.
Thank you.
Awesome. So Caption Companion it's in the same category as other assistive communication technologies, such as FM listening systems or, maybe speech synthesizers or what have you. So for that reason, it doesn't make sense for us to have to pursue compliance certifications, and that would include HIPAA. So in order to get quote unquote HIPAA compliant branding, you kind of have to jump through a lot of hoops. But what we can tell you is that this device is probably a lot closer to, it's a lot more secure than some of these supposed HIPAA compliant products, because the main thing about like Health Insurance Portability Accountability Act, it's really about data security. Like, okay, you have access to healthcare data. What are you going to do with it? Well, this device, you don't never have to connect to the internet. Even if you do, the text stays on the device. It's completely private and it self-deletes. So you actually can't retain it on the device beyond 3 days. The default is 24 hours. It'll delete itself, but you can make it hold on to just for 3 days at the longest. That was by design because it's just for privacy and security reasons. So if it's your device, you bring it. I mean, it's going to be way more secure than using a phone, a speech to text app, because that goes to the cloud. And you can't guarantee that health information stays private, whereas this doesn't. So it stays on device. And if a healthcare organization were to purchase them, then it's really up to them how they treat that health information. Because, for example, if you use the same captioning tablet for multiple patients and you don't delete the text in between, that's a violation of HIPAA because now that information is visible. But if it's your own device, then you just don't let anyone else see it. So even HIPAA compliant products can be used in the wrong way. A lot of that has to do with how you treat it. So it's very secure, very private, but it doesn't have this official compliance certifications, and we don't plan to pursue those either because it's not in that category of device. Like you don't certify an FM listening system as HIPAA compliant. It's just why would you get a refreshable braille display and say, oh, what's the data security? So it's kind of thinking in the wrong category. But yeah, it's very secure. To answer the question, did I even answer it completely?
Yeah, the doctor appointments and yeah.
Well, maybe a sequitur to that is, do you think a patient could bring the device with them into an
Mhm.
appointment and
Mhm.
use it? Do you know of any patient who has done that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a common use case for Caption Companion
right.
because it's more accurate and it's more secure and it's easier to see. And then you've got, if you take it home and you can reread what was spoken better than having to write it down. So yeah, absolutely. If it's your own tool, you know,
Yes.
the only thing is just use it wisely. Don't try and eavesdrop on other conversations. But if a hearing person can hear those conversations, so can Caption Companion, and it will caption it. So that's your right. If a hearing person is in that room and they can hear this conversation going on, well, so can you. You just turn it on. You don't have to show the screen to anyone else. Then yeah, it's acting like anything else that's hearing, and it's just captioning. So use it wisely, you know.
Yes.
And then Terry Shirley's asking, I think you've answered this, but maybe there is a way. Can you save the transcript after the conversation ends?
Yes.
Wonderful question. Yes, you can. Not on the device itself. You don't export it. You don't sign into your own app on the device, but you can plug it in with the cable, either plug into your computer or plug it into your phone. And there is a way to copy and paste from the, you select all, copy from the device, and then paste it wherever you want to keep it, into a Word doc or your own notes or however you want to save that. So yeah,
But
it
you
is
have to
possible.
do it within that certain amount of time. The auto delete, 24 hours or 72 hours. You've got to do it within that time because once it's gone, it's gone.
That's correct. That's correct. And that was by design. So yes, you
Right.
can, but you've got to do it before it auto deletes.
Okay, and then Marilyn is asking, can you connect it to a projector to use in large meetings?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, you can. But you can't use standard off-the-shelf HDMI cables. There is one we sell that is compatible. It works with the device. So you would just purchase that separately and then you can plug it in to large projectors.
And you can, the Bluetooth microphone that it comes with, you can either use that, you can give it to the person speaking, you can pass it around to different speakers, you can connect that microphone to the soundboard or mixer board within the conference room, which would allow Caption Companion to caption everyone that is mic'd in that room. So
Right.
multiple ways. We even sell it's 4 microphones in a set, which would be, I think, Matthew, it's paired with Caption Companion, correct?
Oh, well, that actually is paired with a separate little receiver box, and then you would
Oh,
just
okay.
plug the receiver into Caption Companion.
Okay, and that,
Or
there are 4 microphones to that. So if you're in a focus group or, a book club or something like that, and I mean, you can even use it for a conference also with that. So many, many different ways. And yeah, versatility is all about Caption Companion.
All right, let me see. Oh, how does it work at a town hall if candidates are on a stage and any one of them could be talking or answering audience's questions?
yeah, usually if you already have a PA system, so they're all mic'd to begin with, we can patch into that, no problem. And then we've got a direct audio feed, captions everyone clearly and accurately. If it's
And
just a
then
room without any loudspeakers or PA system, then we would use the multi-mics that Margaret mentioned.
and then you would have the Caption Companion at your seat and you could view it, individually, and everybody that is speaking would come directly through.
Yeah, one caveat to that is there's a section on the support page that talks about speaker changes. So like identifying and visually distinguishing when someone different starts talking in a group. It's usually referred to as automatic speaker diarization or speaker segmentation. That's something that has proven much more difficult for AI to master than most researchers thought. Meeting platforms with auto captioning can do this without AI because each person who speaks is using a different microphone. And that makes it easy to identify and label who's speaking. Try having multiple people in the same room speak into the same mic, and you'll quickly notice that like meeting platform captions can't distinguish who is speaking. So
Right.
yeah, that technology, it does exist, but it's more common in like post-production transcription. Automatically identifying speaker changes in a single audio feed in real time is still highly experimental. So there are apps and products that claim they can do that, but typically the way they work is they transcribe for a few seconds, then they go back and retroactively change who was speaking. It can be visually distracting and it doesn't always get it right. I mean, in our testing of several apps and products in 2024 and 2025, sometimes the text was constantly shifting, making it hard to read. Sometimes it showed a different person speaking when it was the same person. And sometimes it didn't do anything when another person started speaking. So despite being like highly accurate for a wide range of speech, Caption Companion can't yet visually designate when a different person starts speaking.
But we are working on it.
Yeah, we definitely want to incorporate that technology in the future when it becomes more reliable.
Right.
But for now, even if you have multiple mics, it's just a single text, single captioning on the screen.
Okay, and Tana is asking, any idea if or how the price might increase with tariffs? Not sure where the tech is manufactured.
Yeah, that's a great question. We assemble everything in the United States, but yes, the underlying manufactured material, like Samsung manufactures our hardware, and then the microphone, they do come from China, just like all portable electronics. But we are well stocked. We have a ton of them that are already here in the United States, already assembled. So we will be fine for a while. It's possible if the tariff wars go on for a while that it could affect pricing, but we don't foresee that as of yet since we're stocked up here already in the United States.
Right.
Okay, there's more questions here. Does this record conversations? Does Caption Companion record conversations? Tana writes, I'm in the Kaiser medical system, and so far they refuse to provide captions, even though they provide other language and sign interpreters, because they don't want doctor medical conversations recorded.
Yeah, that is so typical. Yeah, I used to work in the healthcare system, and like they had no problems connecting to a remote interpreter, but captioner, oh no. Yeah, audio is never recorded, but from a legal standpoint, you could consider live transcription as a form of recording. So that's probably what they're referring to. Really, when it comes to that, like Kaiser, they work with multiple language providers, language service providers. Those service providers are the ones that need to build captioning into their offering. That way they can, because they already have the system set up. It's already HIPAA compliant. They just need to build captioning in. So yeah, we've certainly considered working with those companies, but they're like massive ships that are hard to turn. So yeah, I'm not sure what it's going to take to finally get captioning in healthcare provided by the healthcare system.
Right.
But as a consumer, I mean, you could say this is not accessible to me.
Right.
This is what makes it accessible to me, and I need it. And if that means like you have to fix your data security, then you fix it. Or you could say, tell you what, here's a device. Here's how it works. Here's why it's secure. Like, because a lot of healthcare systems don't know what solutions are out there.
Right.
So we can all kind of do our best to educate. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
we can
tough
help.
one. Go ahead.
We can help.
Yeah, please reach
They
out to us.
contact us. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always willing to work with providers or systems however we can.
Okay, so there's some more questions.
Mm-hmm.
I think you addressed that, yes, you can save the transcript to another device. And okay, Beth says, can the info be copied to another device? Like
Yes.
information I might get from a healthcare provider, like treatments, prescriptions, etc.
Yes, I mean, obviously what we talked about, you can plug it into your computer or phone and copy and paste. But when it comes to very specific numbers like that, you might want to write it down and just make sure that it's right, or have them give it to you in writing. But yes, it's up to you if you want to retain the information that was spoken for your own purposes. Sometimes we'll have an organization that says, no, we don't even want to allow that. We can disable that before shipping, but unless they specifically request that feature is enabled that allows you to plug it in. You can't do file transfer. It's not like a thumb drive. It's actually like a different app that is used to copy and paste text. That's all. It basically lets you control the tablet from your phone or computer. So you can actually click on it, click the text, and copy and paste it over. So that's how it's the most secure way to retain text that you want.
Okay, so Tom Watson's asking, what options do you need if you're in a classroom where there are 3 teachers, each along a different wall?
Oh yes, we've handled scenarios like that. Once again, it comes down to audio, so you would want each teacher to have their own mic, or if there's already a PA system, we hook into that, and then whenever one of them speaks, it gets captioned. Again, it wouldn't be visually distinguished on the tablet who's speaking, but if you were there, you could just look up and see who it was. But it's very possible to get different people in different places all captioned accurately.
Okay, what is the return policy?
Go ahead,
It's
Margaret.
a 30-day return policy. The units have to be returned in like new resellable condition to receive a full refund. And then, if it's not, then we assess and then we would charge accordingly. But we haven't had many returns at all. So, but yeah, it's 30 days.
Okay, so those are the questions I see in
Okay.
the chat. I'd like to now open it up if you're here in person and have a question. Could you raise your hand or get our attention?
There's only
Some-
one more comment in chat that I think we didn't answer, which is come to ALDA in Denver, October 15th through 19th. We were at AldaCon in Florida last year. It
Yeah.
was awesome. Yeah, it was great. So maybe we don't have plans that far in advance, but we very well might make Alda later this year too.
Yeah.
Well, because of the question that was asked about meetings. We have HLAA chapters throughout the United States, and people are
Right.
seeking ways of captioning meetings and for library presentations,
Mm-hmm.
capturing those or when we're in some other venue. All of us are doing that in different ways. So I think that's important to understand how that works, how you connect it to a projector.
Yeah, absolutely. There's two pieces. There's the visual piece. How do you get it onto a projector so that everybody can see the text? And then there's the audio component. How do you make sure it's accurate? So yeah, we are always willing to help with that. If you've got one of these devices, we can handle all the background tech, and we can show you how to do it so that if you want to learn. So that's we just don't have installers all over the nation that can fly in and do it. That we would have to help remotely, but we're good at that. So
There's a question here from Tom. Is it 30 days from the time received or from the time shipped?
Sorry, yes, it would be 30 days from the time received.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. Terry, Shirley?
You may have answered this, but what is the battery's lifetime expectancy and how long does a charge last?
oh, we have more info on that than you would ever hope to get. If you if you go to from the website on the Caption Companion page, there's a button that says Tech Specs. So if you were to click on that button, I'm just going to do it myself. Then it opens up info about the tablet's specifications, and under the battery life, the active working time is approximately 11 hours, but it depends on screen brightness. It can last days if you're not even using it. That's like active captioning time. It's on, it's capturing, listening, and then charge time from empty to full is about 4 hours. And then you asked about like how many years it can last. Yeah, it's depends on how many hours you use it per day, but it'll last longer than your phone, and that's because there's nothing else on that. Even if you were to get a portable tablet that looks like Caption Companion, it has a ton of other stuff on there. It's doing all kinds of stuff in the background. It's running, it's processing it. You have to charge it like frequently. Caption Companion is a single purpose device, so it will last a lot longer. But as with any portable electronics, you may see battery degradation with each passing year. So maybe 100% used to last you this long, and now it only lasts this long, this long. So it's not like magic battery technology. It does degrade, but it should last you a good number of years if you take care of it.
Thank you.
Sure.
I have a question. Just so you know, I've been sitting here with this on my cell phone. I put the link in. I also have my Apple automatic captioning on, and I'm using the Zoom link. I'm really good at reading fast. This is far superior to both of them. The captioner, the live captioner on Zoom is doing really well, but the latency is different. This comes up much quicker than the captions do on there. My question is really specific to, I heard earlier that you started doing this by, I think I heard, by training voices. And I want to make sure that the tests that you did that got the 98% and what you're doing now isn't specifically to the voice that was trained for this app, or did it use multiple different voices or situations? You know what if that's a fair question to ask.
Wow, I love questions like this. I'm so sorry. We're gonna have to geek out here. So sorry to
Uh-oh.
everyone else. This is an
You
awesome
guys are
question.
in trouble now.
Yeah. So Margaret and I,
Well,
That's-
we depend on this stuff. So, and it's not like a $200 or $300 charge to get this device, you know.
Right,
I
right.
For whatever it's worth, I use Otter a lot too. So yeah, go on.
oh yes, we're very familiar with the whole range of captioning solutions out there. So yeah, thank you, Tana, for the question. Margaret and I began as voice writers, and we trained our own speech recognition software to our speech. And that's still what we use to this day when we provide remote cart. But this product is completely separate from that, has nothing to do with our own training. This is like the engine we're using. It's based on an open source project. It was created way before ChatGPT, way before any of that. And so the speech models are kind of like generic. That's why it's so good across a wide range of speech. But if it doesn't use speech that was captured while captioning to improve its own models, like this, the way it works is it's completely separate. Like this product itself is not used in training AI. So the latency is amazing because it's all on device. It doesn't have to go to the cloud. And then you asked, oh, how did we get it to pass the test? So that was Global Alliance. They're the ones that decide what material is used for testing. So they have certain recordings that they use to test human captioners. Well, one of those recordings is what they use to test Caption Companion. So we didn't even know what it was going to be. They just
Random.
yeah, whatever their material was. And yeah, so that's why we held it to the same standard as human captioning.
Thank you. That was really helpful.
Awesome.
Okay, Beth.
There, getting my mic off. Kind of along the same line, what about in instances where somebody speaking has a heavy accent? Like I listen to a lot of things that come out of India, and it's like hilarious the what the captioning comes across as sometimes,
Yeah.
or really frustrating because you don't have a clue what they're saying.
Yes. Let me just say that as a human captioner, I always thought of myself as pretty good with accents, but there came a point when there were certain accents that I was having trouble understanding. And I have a Caption Companion connected to my computer. So every audio, any audio that I hear in my headset also goes into my Caption Companion tablet. And I remember a couple years ago when like there was like a threshold light bulb with like that AI was better at accents than I was. It could recognize those Indian accents. And this is no different. But let me just show, I don't know how much you can see it if I hold it in front of me, but at the very bottom, if you tap the screen once, you can change the language. And you can actually choose a different dialect. Like if English United States isn't doing well, you can choose English from another country, and English India is one of them. So you could select English India and see if that does any better. So there's languages and dialects.
Okay, great.
And
thank you.
oh, yeah. But test it. Sometimes I don't know why, but sometimes English United States will be more accurate with certain accents than the country itself. I don't know. I don't understand why that is. But you can test that when you have one and see what gives you the better quality.
But it does do really well with accents.
Oh,
Great.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
Then I just have a clarification question because I kind of nodded off during the early part of this. So this is both, you're getting an audio and a transcription, of written transcription. Is that correct? Closed caption.
Oh, I'm very
The
glad you asked that.
device that you're talking about, it has both of those?
It does not record audio. So anytime I was referring to audio, I meant the audio that the tablet hears in order to produce the captioning.
Okay.
But yeah, it does not record any audio, and it doesn't produce any audio
So it
unless
doesn't come into my ear at the same time as comes across the screen. Okay.
no,
you.
it does not. Yeah, it does not do
Okay.
that. So you would get your own audio feed into your ears, however you would normally do that.
Okay.
And then this
Thank
just
you.
needs a separate audio feed. There is one instance where the tablet itself creates audio, and that is there's a way to have two-way communication for someone who doesn't voice for themselves. So you can type back and forth, like a Caption Companion user can type on the screen, and then you can tap the speaker icon and it'll voice out loud what you typed.
Okay.
That's mainly for users who don't voice for themselves.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. Thank you.
Okay, are there other questions you have for presenters? If you do, please let us know. Now would be the time. I think we've addressed all the questions in the chat. If we haven't, please let us know. Okay, then I want to thank you both, Margaret and Mathew, for being here today and
Thank you.
spending this time with us explaining Caption Companion. It really, makes us think about how it might be used in our own
Yeah.
organization.
Right.
I
We
see
thank you.
Tom Watson is appearing now with his face. Tom, did you have a question? Okay. Hi, Tom. Do you have a question? No, no question. Okay, but it's good to see your face rather than just your name and
Just letting you
letters.
know I'm here.
Okay, thanks, Tom. All the way from Maine.
Wow.
We're in California. Terry Shirley is in Colorado, I believe. And I don't know where everybody else is, right? Terry's there. I don't know. Oh, there's Tony Berrien. She's in Southern California.
Wow.
Allen's in California. And then we have Indianapolis. I believe HLAA Indy must be Indianapolis.
I'm in California, North California.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Beth is right here.
Okay.
Oh, Shirley, yes.
I'm volunteering for ALDA con for 2025 because it is in Colorado. So you will be receiving an invite from me to present there or to have a table. Okay. It'll be me it's coming from.
Thank you. Is this Terry Shirley?
Yes.
I think that I received something from you.
Yeah. But then you told me to send it to a different email.
Yeah, that's the email, the info@premiervisualvoice.com. So the whole team, it's just it's an email where we all get the information.
Okay. You'll be
Yeah.
good.
But you can even send it to Margaret at premiervisualvoice.com also. That just comes directly to me only, but the info@premiervisualvoice.com, it would go to the whole team.
Visual voice. Voice.com. Oh, so, okay, all right,
Yes,
thank you.
thank you.
Okay, so Matthew, did you want to say something?
Yes, I have a question. How is it that this is the North Bay chapter, but you have members in Maine and Colorado and
Oh,
and
yeah.
and California? I'm just fascinated. How does that work?
That didn't even dawn on me.
HLAA has a groups.io and a calendar for HLAA leaders. So when we have a virtual meeting, we announce it and invite everybody.
Wow.
So this was announced as soon as we booked it with you and put on that calendar. That not every chapter posts their events because either they don't pay attention to it or whatever, they're unable to, whatever. But we try to, and as a result, we get participants from all over the United States, like, several from California and people we know actually and know in person. But then there's other people we've met at conventions or people who just are able to read that and get the information and come to the meeting.
What you're actually getting in this particular meeting are HLAA and all the leaders. Tony Baird, who was just on, and I don't think it's here anymore, is leader for all of the consortium of California HLA leaders. So even though there may look like there's a smaller group here, the spheres of influence are much larger than the amount of people that are here. And what I will say, if you get invites in the future, what Sara and I find is that it's really unpredictable who shows up at these meetings. I mean, sometimes we have lots of people who are individuals. Sometimes we have lots of leaders like we did today. So if you get invited by another HLA chapter, I would encourage you to accept the invitation.
Hey,
Yeah.
Thank
that's
you.
excellent.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
That actually clarifies
Yeah.
a lot. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the question, Matthew. It didn't even dawn on me to ask.
I mean, I felt like special because I'm in Sacramento, so I'm pretty close to North Bay
Yeah.
chapter. But then I'm like, wait a minute, there's people from all over the country in this meeting. So
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's wonderful.
yeah.
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 The beauty of Zoom, I find that in lots of different things, you end up all over you get people from all over.
Yep. Yeah, it is a nice way to collaborate and network and get the word out,
Right. And then along with that groups.io are different other groups related to HLAA. There's a technical group, there's a captioning that has a captioning hashtag. And so we can discuss different things and we can help people with their questions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what our organization does. We work together with the same mission
Right.
that I mentioned to improve the quality of people's lives through information, education, support, and advocacy.
Right.
I just thought of another question. So on the battery, on the charging, does the charge just have a regular kind of charger like all of our other devices have? Or is it something special?
It's USB Type C, the most
Oh,
universal.
the new one.
Yeah, the newest one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So then I could use a power bank if I was out and it was going, let's say I was at a conference or something, I was out all day long and I was losing the power. I could just plug it into a power bank that had that kind of attachment.
That's correct. You sure
Okay.
could. Yep.
Great. Thank you.
I do have one more question.
Mhm.
One of my frustrations is when we as HLA go to a health fair or something like that. And would this be appropriate there when there's all that kind of background noise and different people coming? Would you have to use like a remote mic to the person speaking, or would it pick up conversations?
Great question again. We've tested it in noisy environments, and it's very good at discriminating what text it should be captioning and what it should be, sorry, what audio it should be captioning and what it should be ignoring. So as long as you are speaking right into the mic, close, whether that's the integrated mic or the wireless mic, boom, it knows, got it. All that is background. I'm going to ignore it and I'm going to caption just this speech. Boom, 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 really fast, even in noisy environments. But if you step away from the mic, you become background noise, and then it doesn't know, and then it hears everything, but there's so much talking that it basically it doesn't caption anything. There's a little sound meter in the top right corner, and there's two layers to the sound meter. There's an inner core and then an outer layer, and the inner, if you just tap on it, it can like it describes it. But that's very handy because the inner core is the background noise, and then the outer layer is the loudness. So ideally what you want is like small inner core and a large outer layer. That means low background noise, clear speech, I'm good to go. In a noisy environment, the whole outer core will be really big, indicating, wow, there's a lot of noise. But as long as that speech is close to the mic, it can handle accurate captioning in noisy environments.
So I used the example of health fairs, but now I'm jumping to restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
I put it in restaurants. I mean, that is the thing that comes up with every single captioning system.
Yeah. We have, it's actually on the website. It's a testimonial. We have a customer who took the Caption Companion to a noisy environment. His hearing aids kind of, he told me they were useless because it was so noisy, echoing. You know how it is in the big restaurants. So he was there with his wife and his daughter and sat down at the table, didn't have even the Bluetooth microphone. He just had Caption Companion, propped it up on the table, and he said, Margaret, I couldn't even believe it, that it just captioned what we were saying at our table. And he said, I was able to have a nice dinner, interact with my family when my hearing aids just gave out.
If you guys have results like that in restaurants, you should be pretty successful. I mean, that is the #1 complaint, it seems to me.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the cocktail party
yes.
phenomenon. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's even hard. People who hear well, I mean, I hear well, I'm legally blind. So my, your senses pick up. So my hearing is very, well, not accurate sometimes, but yeah, it's very intense. And, I even have a hard time in those noisy environments. It's just echoey and the ceilings are high and noise and chairs and laughing. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so Shirley?
You're muted.
You're muted.
Okay. If you purchase the device at a convention, do you give a discount for the people who are there at the time?
We typically, yes. Yeah, that's what we've done in the past. So yeah, it's usually like anywhere like 10%, maybe 150 off, something like that. But yeah, there's usually a special rate for the conference purchase now. And we did at Aldecon. I think we had some there. We had some at the other one. You know, so you could physically take it home with you there, or you could purchase, you know, we'd put in your information, get it sent out to you within, you know, it doesn't take long at all, a day or two to
Okay.
get it shipped. And yeah,
So maybe this has been asked and answered, but you will be at the HLAA National Conference in June.
No,
wish we
that
could.
yeah, that's the one we said we didn't. We were
Oh
not
my
able to
gosh.
attend. So
I
yeah,
know.
I mean,
Oh
unless
my
there's a.
goodness, that's it. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, we definitely wanted to, but we would have needed to be prepared like farther in advance. So yeah, but it's definitely on our radar. So
Beth,
Okay, so so what is the difference between the Capture Companion and the Premier Visual Voice? Is that just a device that's sold under your venue or what? I just am not understanding that.
Right. Premier Visual Voice is the company. Caption Companion is a product.
Is the device, okay.
Yes.
And then one more question. So what about like in like the theater, a live theater? Could
Ah,
you use it for something like that? Or like, because I would have, often I like musicals, so it would have loud music and
yeah, when it
I
comes
stopped
to
going because I can't hear and I feel like I just waste my $200 ticket, so.
right.
scripted events like that, you just want a human captioner. AI cannot handle like scripted, like when there's specific lines and there's yelling and screaming and music and
Okay,
like, yeah, you could try it if it helps, but honestly, we prefer to work with venues directly when it comes to plays because we can get the script in advance, we can prepare the captioner, and then we can provide human cart for that. But
so do some theaters actually do that? I've not, I'm in San Francisco, I haven't found any that have done that, but
Oh,
I
yeah,
haven't
we-
gone
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah, we work with a couple.
Theaters,
yeah, the ones we worked
Yeah.
with so far are on the East Coast. So
okay,
yeah, we need to get up on the West Coast. But even if they don't have a caption companion, like we can provide remote cart for theaters and live plays. And we've even done like live audio description for the blind and low vision for
okay.
Plays.
yeah, for plays.
Live theater.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a Premiere Visual Voice service because but see that's why it's best if captioners sell AI captioning, not tech companies, because we know when it works and when it doesn't. AI,
Yeah.
no matter how good your AI captioning is, it's just not going to hold up with against a human prepared human cart provider
Right.
in something like a play with a musical. I mean, we can even caption the lyrics if we concerts. We've done concerts as well, like
Yeah.
as
Yeah,
human
with
captioning.
humans.
Yeah, AI is not going to be able to handle that right now. Maybe in the future, yes, but at this point, that's beyond the limits of
Yeah.
artificial
And do you
intelligence.
do movie theaters as well? Because I get some things in movie theaters, but I don't know, they're not.
Not
Movie.
good.
The
I
thing
get
about
the
movie
closed
theaters,
captioning, but yeah,
all movies are subtitled in advance. So if that theater is not showing open captions by law, they're supposed to have a captioning device. Now we all know
they
how
do. They're
unreliable
not
those are.
they're not
They're
great.
not very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I don't have hearing loss myself, but I always ask for a captioning device at movie theaters because I want to know if they work, and they're terrible.
They
So,
are.
but here's the thing. Movies are scripted as well, and there's a lot of sound effects and there's a lot of other noise. So even if you plugged Caption Companion into one of their assistive listening devices to get a direct audio feed, it's never going to be as good as the
Right.
subtitles that were prepared for that
Yeah.
movie. So you can try it. I mean, we've even had people say, I just took it into theater, just turned it on, and it was helpful. Like
Oh,
it
great.
literally will pick up dialogue and caption it as long as it's clear without all the sound effects. It can be a help, but really the best way to get access to movies and cinema is you have to get access to those subtitles. One way or another, they are created before the movie. You just have to like get, get access to those subtitles. I know that's not always easy, but
Well, how would you do that other than the device that they provide, which, as you just acknowledged, is not
yeah.
great?
Yeah, how
Yeah.
does the movie theaters, why don't they have that? Or do they?
They're supposed to. It's just when the captioning devices are unreliable, you have to self-advocate and then you have to raise a
Yeah,
complaint. And sometimes they address it, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's an issue of that
right,
individual franchise. Sometimes it's
right.
the corporate level that needs to fix it. Yeah, it's great to see the movement for open captions in theaters. A lot of them are starting to
Yeah.
like
If your
be open
theater
to that.
caption, go on. I didn't mean that. I was just gonna say if the theater captioning systems aren't working, I always ask for a free ticket and they usually give it to me.
Oh, okay.
They need some consequences for not having their devices charged or not having them connected or something.
Right.
Yeah, that's a way of self-advocating and educating.
Yeah. I usually can get a device. It's just not really always
Good.
real effective. It's still better. I mean, it's still better
Yeah.
than having nothing
Right.
because
Right.
I come away knowing nothing about what I've seen.
Yeah.
Okay, Shirley has a question. Terry, Shirley, do you have a question? Shirley, Terry?
So I'm thinking it's Terry and then it's Shirley. Okay. So Sunset Film Festival is coming to Boulder in 2027. Some of the theaters are not equipped to play any movies with captions. So trying to work on that right now, but this device, I could take it to Sunset Film Festival screening and it would work, right?
Yeah, it'll caption whatever audio it hears. I would ask for a receiver like assistive listening. Get one for yourself if you need it, and get a second one for Caption Companion so that you can plug it in because you really need that direct audio feed as opposed to getting the audio from the loudspeakers. But didn't I thought Rev partnered with the film festival when it was in Utah. They always handled the subtitles for all but it's the theaters that are not set up for subtitling. Is that what you said?
The filmmakers have the final say so how they want to showcase their movies with captions or without captions, that they don't have to send a closed caption file. But if they have an online encore, which I tried to watch some of their films last year. I wasn't able to watch it for some reason, but I was able to watch Marlene Matlin's movie in open caption.
Mm.
So, but anyway, I'm going to try to get some films from them this coming year and see if I can watch them at home.
Yeah, Sundance, right? Sundance Film Festival. They used to be in Utah and now it's moving to Colorado. Yeah.
Older.
I'm
Yeah,
close enough to
Boulder.
go, but I want to be able to go and participate in person. But I don't know.
We can help you do that. I mean, if you've got Caption Companion, we'll get in touch with whomever we need to, and we can help with that.
Yeah, we would be happy to help. It's sort of an individual solution because really it needs to be solved at the at the theater level or the cinema level.
Right.
I remember Rev, the company, being very vocal about their partnership with Sundance, and they were producing the subtitles for all the films.
Hmm.
So I hope they don't lose that by moving it to Colorado, yeah, those should be subtitled. But
Definitely.
but yes, Margaret is right. If Caption Companion can offer any kind of increase in communication access, then we are here to help by all means.
Right. Yep. We are here to help.
Okay, so this has been a great discussion. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
inviting
Yeah.
us. Thank you for the time, and it was great meeting everyone.
All right. Oh, Tom. Yes, Tom.
No. Oh, Tom, are you looking at Tom?
Yeah, I put this in the chat, but just ran into a situation where Zoom actually froze. Everything else was working, but Zoom froze. I had to reboot and rejoin, and that interrupted the transcript, so I no longer have most of the meeting notes. Does anything similar happen with the Caption Companion?
No, no. Well, no, because you wouldn't be using internet. Caption Companion does not require internet.
Yeah, it doesn't freeze up very often on its own because it's not cloud-based. I suppose once in a million, yeah, maybe the device needs to be rebooted.
Yeah.
But
Not-
if you were talking about, suppose you had Caption Companion connected to your computer and it was captioning the audio. If Zoom froze, then the audio would freeze and it wouldn't have anything to caption.
The caption, right.
I wasn't sure which scenario you were referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll say goodbye again to our
Okay.
priest.
Bye. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank
And
you.
Thank you. This
thank
was
you
great.
to our real live captioner,
Yes,
Rhonda
thank you.
Taylor. Thank you so much for your dedication and accuracy here. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Margaret and I can attest to that. Thank you.
Yeah,
You did a
it's
phenomenal job.
we're on this side and not on that other side. It's different to be not the captioner.